Hello everyone, and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh! Hero deck profile. So, Hero has been my favorite deck for a long time now, and I realize I've never done one on the basic Hero build compared to the Neos build, so I think since Heroes have gotten a lot of support lately, it's about time I show you all my current Hero build. So, let's dive right in. So, first of all, I run one copy of Elemental Hero Neos. Neos, for the longest time, was not needed in a normal hero build. He kind of was just stuck to himself. But with the release of the new Flame Wingman, he has gained a lot of versatility and is now one of the better monsters in the deck in order for you to continue your plays. Then I have one copy of Elemental Hero Honest Neos. He's here for buffing purposes. That's all he's needed for. He can be summoned, but trust me, you're not really going to use that. Well, you're not really going to have him on the field, since his buffing effect is really darn good, since you can discard him, target one hero monster you control, and he gains 2,500 attack points. Really good, especially for cards like Vision Hero Trinity. Then, I run two copies of good old Elemental Hero Stratos. Stratos is a classic. He's been around forever now, and is still one of the best hero monsters in the game. And he's one of my personal favorites, and the main reason I run him at 2 is because nowadays with Ferris and all that stuff and a lot of dumb crud going on, he's better to be ran at 2 than 3 now. Anyway, next up I run two copies of Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, one of the main searchers in the deck, and one of the main monsters you want to special summon since it can be your key into going into Master Hero Darklaw, and Master Hero Darklaw is incredible. Then I run one copy of Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier. Liquid Soldier is pure draw power, since if he's used for a fusion summon, which you're most likely going to be doing that with Neos here, he lets you draw 2 cards and discard 1, which is really solid overall. Now, that's it for the Elemental Heroes, on to the Destiny Heroes. For the Destiny Heroes, I run one copy of Destiny Hero Plasma. Plasma is a one-sided skill drain, and holy dump is he powerful. And on top of that, he can target one monster your opponent controls and equip it to him, and he gains half of its attack points. So yeah, Plasma is really strong even to this day. Good lord. Then I run two copies of Destiny Hero Malicious. Malicious is also a very solid monster, since if you banish one copy of him from your graveyard, you get another copy of him. So he's really good for link climbing, or being there for an emergency fusion summon if needed. Then I run one copy of Destiny Hero Denier. Denier is also really solid since he can actually recycle the copy of Malicious that's banished and put it back on top of your deck. So then you'll be able to use Malicious again. So he basically is like running a third Malicious, and on top of that, if you have a Destiny Hero in your graveyard, you can bring him back to the field, but that's only once per dual effect. But yeah, Denier is one of the better Destiny Heroes out there. Then, for the Vision Heroes, I run 3 copies of Vision Hero Ferris. Vision Hero Ferris is one of the best Vision Heroes out there. And honestly, the other two are also fantastic, but Ferris has some of the most versatility, since by discarding one hero monster you control, one hero monster in your hand, you can special summon him and then put a Vision Hero in your spell and trap card zone. So, that monster will always be Vision Hero Increase. I only run one copy of Increase since I think my deck can warrant it. And on top of that, Increase has the effect where you contribute one hero monster you control, special summon him, and then special summon one Vision Hero from your deck to your field. And that Vision Hero will always be Vision Hero Vion. Vion is absolutely fantastic, since whenever he is normal or special summoned, you can send one hero monster from your deck to your graveyard, which will usually be Malicious, Denier, or Shadow Mist. So that's very solid. And on top of that, you can banish one hero monster in the graveyard in order to add Polymerization from your deck to your hand, which again, that's really good. Then I run one copy of Crosskeeper. Crosskeeper is here for additional draw power and to special summon Shadow Mist and or Stratos when needed, since you can send him to the graveyard in order to special summon one elemental hero monster in your hand or graveyard, but it's from the graveyard, their effects are negated. And on top of that, if you special summon an elemental hero fusion monster, you can banish him and then draw 2 cards and return 1. So combine him with Liquid, so say you fuse Liquid and Neos in the fuse Neos and Liquid, and then you have Crosskeeper in the graveyard, you can banish Crosskeeper, draw 2, return 1, use Liquid's effect to draw 2 and discard 1. So yeah, that's just a guaranteed +2, so that is really good. To round out the monsters, I run 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Ash Blossom is really good and really helpful at stopping your opponent from adding cards from their deck to their hand, sending cards from their deck to the graveyard, so on and so forth. It's one of the best hand traps for a reason. But yeah, that rounds out the monsters. So, now we're going to be moving on to the spells. For the spell cards, I run 3 copies of A Hero Lives. A Hero Lives is one of the it's one of the best hero spell cards out there, since at the cost of half of your life points, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower elemental hero from your deck to your field. It'll usually be Stratos or Shadow Mist. So yeah, it's really good at starting your plays and getting a free special summon. Then I run 3 copies of Mask Change. Mask Change lets you target one hero monster you control, send it in the graveyard, and special summon a masked hero with the same attribute. This is normally used for Shadow Mist to go into Dark Law, but it can also be used to turn Absolute Zero into Masked Hero Acid for the Absolute Acid combo. And on top of that, it can be used to turn Stratos into Blast in order to make it so, say Stratos gets hit by an Impermanence or Veiler, you can use Mask Change to send him to the graveyard, so then he's able to dodge that so you can still get your search. So yeah, Mask Change is really strong. Then I run 3 copies of Fusion Destiny. Gosh, I am so happy this card is at 3 again. I know it's been a while, well, it's been at 3 for a while, but I can't express how happy I am this card's at 3 because what it does is you can send monsters from your deck to your graveyard and in order to special summon 1 Destiny Hero Fusion monster that meets those conditions. So you send Malicious and Denier to the graveyard in order to summon Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. The only downside is you're locked into Dark Heroes for the rest of the turn, and the monster gets destroyed during your opponent's next standby phase. So that's a little rough there, but actually it's not really that much of a problem since Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer's not gonna stick around long enough for that effect to go through. But anyway, next up I run 2 copies of Polymerization. Normally this is ran at 1 in hero decks. I run it at 2 to feel safe, since Polymerization, it's the basic fusion spell, and you do a lot of fusing in this deck, so it's nice for me to run it at 2. Then I run 1 copy of Miracle Fusion. Miracle Fusion is very simple. You search it from Sunrise, and you activate it to banish heroes from your field or graveyard to summon another elemental hero monster. So overall, really nice, and I'm happy this card is still being used to this day. Then I have 2 copies of Emergency Call. Basic search spell, just adds any elemental hero from your deck to your hand. Really nice. I run 1 copy of Rhoda. Adds a level 4 or lower warrior monster from deck to hand. Really nice, and I use this to search for Crosskeeper. So then I can just try and do the whole special summon thing with Crosskeeper. And then I run 2 copies of Forbidden Droplet. You don't need to run this if you don't have the money for it. No worries, I just run it here since it's really nice at stopping my opponent from using their card, stopping my opponent's negation monsters, such as like Baron A or something like that. And yeah, Droplet's just really powerful, and I love this card. It's so good. And then I run 2 copies of Dark Ruler No More. You might be asking, Gabe, why are you using Dark Ruler in a deck that is in a beatdown deck? You won't be able to kill OTK them. That's true. But the end result will definitely shut them down for good, since Dark Ruler No More will secure your play since it negates all the face-up effect monsters your opponent currently controls, so then you're allowed to do your dumb crud, say like Hero Lives in the Stratos, get your free search, so on and so forth. And even though you're not going to be able to do any damage, your end board will usually be strong enough to warrant playing this card. Then I run 1 copy of Foolish Burial. Very simple, sends any monster from your deck to your graveyard. I usually do this for Shadow Mist or Malicious. And then I run 1 copy of Called by the Grave because hand traps are annoying. And on top of that, a lot of monsters with graveyard effects are really annoying. So that's why I run that. Anyway, that is it for the spell cards. Now on to the single trap card. And that single trap card is Favorite Contact. This card I am so happy can be ran well in this current build, since Favorite Contact, what it does is you can shuffle monsters in your graveyard back into your deck, and special summon one fusion monster that meets those whose requirements meet the material set back. So it's just literally any fusion monster, but if you ended up using Elemental Hero Neos, that monster, well, as a fusion material, that monster cannot be sent back to the extra deck, which is really, really nice. It's intended for contact fusions, but it's actually really good for any of your fusion monsters, so that way they cannot be compulsed. So yeah, that is it for the main deck. Now, on to the extra deck. For the extra deck, I run one copy of Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. This card is one of the newer guys, and it is really strong, since it gains 300 attack points for every hero monster used to summon it. Well, actually, for every monster used to summon it, sorry. And he can make attacks equal to the amount of fusion monsters used to summon him. So say you use likes of Sunrise and Absolute Zero to summon him, he'll be able to get 2 extra attacks, which is really, really fun. On top of that, whenever he attacks an opponent's monster, that monster will always be destroyed by that battle no matter what. And then your opponent will take damage equal to its attack points. Well, equal to that monster's original attack points, which again, really nice. It's got a nice version of the wingman effect there. And then if it's destroyed by any means, and I mean any means, because there have been people who have found ways with Destroyer, Phoenix, and Forcer to do some insane crud with this card. You can special summon one level 4 or lower elemental hero actually, no, it's not even a level 4 or lower, it's just literally any elemental hero monster from your deck to your field, which is really good. Then I run one copy of Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman. I am so happy I can finally run this guy in this deck since the new Wingman came out. And Shining Neos Wingman is really stinking strong, since whenever he is summoned, he can destroy monsters on your opponent's feet, he can destroy cards on your opponent's field up to the number of different attributes on the field. So say, if you have Shining Neos Wingman out, he's a light monster, and your opponent has a water monster. You can destroy 2 cards they control. Really fun. On top of that, he gains 300 attack points for every monster in your graveyard, so he can get really big. And he also has the basic Wingman effect, but a little revised, since it's just if he destroys an opponent's monster by battle, your opponent takes damage equal to that monster's original attack points, which is really nice. On top of that, he can't be destroyed by card effects, so he can't get Dark Hold or anything like that like a lot of the other heroes. So all in all, he's really fun. He's my current favorite monster of all time. I stinking love Neos Wingman. Then I run one copy of Elemental Hero Flame Wingman, Infernal Rage. Infernal Rage is one of the best retrains a monster could ever get, since whenever he is summoned, he lets you add one favorite card from your deck to your hand. Well, deck or graveyard to your hand, sorry. And usually that card will always be Favorite Contact, which the cool thing is he can recycle it even if it's been used already, which is really cool. And on top of that, if you end up using a normal monster to summon him, you can tribute him in order to special summon one level 7 or lower elemental hero monster from your extra deck to the field. And that monster will always be Elemental Hero Sunrise. Sunrise has been one of the best hero monsters for a long time now, and I'm happy that the new Wingman gives him even more utility, since whenever Elemental Hero Sunrise is special summoned, you can add one copy of Miracle Fusion from your deck to your hand. So that means that you can use the materials in your graveyard for another fusion monster, which is really good. On top of that, Sunrise has the effect where all monsters you control gain 200 attack points for every different attribute you control. So if you have a light and a wind monster, all monsters you control gain 400 attack points. And it just goes up from there for each different attribute, which is really, really nice. And on top of that, he has another effect where if a hero monster you control attacks or is being attacked, you can destroy one card your opponent controls. Which, actually no, it's just one card on the field, sorry. Which again, that's really, really strong. Sunrise is probably going to be one of the best hero monsters for a long time. I still love this card. And then I run one copy of Elemental Hero Absolute Zero. Absolute Zero is an absolute hero in my book, since whenever he leaves the field by any means, except for being returned to the extra deck because of ruling situations. But if he's destroyed or banished, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls. It is stinking amazing. He does have another effect where he gains 500 attack points for every other water monster in the field, so he can get big if you're fighting a water deck. But you don't use him for that. You use him for the funny mask change situations or the stupid fusion crud you can do with him. Zero is just so much fun. Then I run, well, actually, sorry, speaking of the Masked Heroes, I run one copy of Masked Hero Acid. Masked Hero Acid is, again, one of the better Masked Heroes out there, since if he is summoned, he can destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. And since back row is as prevalent as ever nowadays, this is really good. Acid is just fantastic for this reason. He does have an additional effect where all monsters your opponent control lose 300 attack points after he does a spell and trap card destruction effect. But that's hardly ever going to matter, since Absolute Zero will most likely have already destroyed all monsters your opponent controls. So yeah. Then I run one copy of the best Masked Hero, hands down, Masked Hero Darklaw. One-sided Macrocosmos, everybody! Since, while he's on the field, all cards your opponent would normally send in their graveyard are banished instead. Really, really, really strong. And on top of that, he has another effect where, if your opponent were to add a card from their deck to their hand, he can instead randomly banish one card from your opponent's hand. Which, again, that's really, really strong. Darklaw is still ridiculous to this day, and I just love this card. Then I run one copy of Masked Hero Blast. Masked Hero Blast is, again, well, he's one of the better Masked Hero options. I know some people do prefer Divine Wind as their wind attribute one, but I like Blast a bit more because, again, back row is annoying, you kind of need all the help you can get, and Blast is pretty good. Since at the cost of 500 life points, you can return one spell or trap card on your opponent's field back to their hand, which is pretty darn nice. On top of that, whenever he is summoned, he can have the attack points of one monster your opponent controls, which again, that's pretty good. Now, for the Destiny Heroes, I run one copy of Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer is the best Destiny Hero fusion monster, and probably the best Destiny Hero ever created, since for every monster in your graveyard, you make your opponent lose 200 attack, but all monsters your opponent control lose 200 attack points for every hero in the graveyard. So he can just do mass debuffing and helps out the Neos Wingman and Wake Up a lot in that department, since they're able to do even more damage. And on top of that, he has the amazing effect where you can target one card you control and one card your opponent control, destroy them! And the best part is, if Phoenix Enforcer is destroyed by any means, during the next standby phase, you can bring back one Destiny Hero in your graveyard back to the field. Which, again, that is really good. Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer is completely bonkers, and I love this card so much. It's so good! And honestly, it's one of the... I'm happy that just Phoenix Enforcer has a Destiny Hero variant now, since I never really was a fan of the Elemental Hero Phoenix Enforcer, but gosh, his Destiny Hero form is so cool. Anyway, I also run one copy of Destiny Hero Dangerous. He's an additional Fusion Destiny target, since his materials are pretty good, where it's just a Destiny Hero and a Dark Effect monster, so you can actually use Shadow Mist and Malicious to summon him, so then you can get a free search from your Shadow Mist and a free Malicious effect. So he's pretty solid. And then I run one copy of Vision Hero Trinity. Gosh, Trinity is an example of a monster I really, really, really underestimated until I actually got him. Until I watched a lot of videos showing how busted he really is. He has one effect. Double his attack. Okay, technically two effects. Sorry. Whenever he's summoned, his attack points are doubled until the end phase. And on top of that, he can make up to 3 attacks. Yeah, like on monsters your opponent controls, though he cannot attack directly. that means squat when it comes to DPE. And on top of that with Honest Neos, since Link monsters will always be prevalent, DPE can debuff them to the point where whenever Trinity hits the field, Trinity will be able to do just complete insane crud and just win you the duel in a minute. It's incredible, and I stinking love Trinity. Gosh dang, this card is awesome. Then for the Link monsters, I run one copy of Extra Hero Dread Decimator. Dread Decimator is a really nice buffer monster since, first of all, for his first effect, he has piercing damage, and the other thing is all hero monsters this card points to gain 100 attack points for every hero monster in your graveyard. This combos really well with your main beat sticks and Neos Wingman and Trinity. Heck, it can even buff up some of your weaker monsters like Darklaw and a lot of your other main deck heroes. So Dread Decimator can be really insane. On top of that, he's no slouch too at a base of 2,500 attack points, which is one of the better stats for a Link 3 monster. So yeah, Dread Decimator is really cool. Then I run one copy of Extra Hero Wonder Driver. Wonder Driver is your main recycler in the deck since if a hero monster is summoned to a zone he points to, you can set face down one Polymerization and or Fusion spell card or Mass Change Quick Play spell in your graveyard back face down. This is really good if you're trying to go for a bunch of fusion spams. And it's not the greatest if you're going for Mass Hero, since Mass Change is a quick play spell, it'll count as it being set face down, so it can't activate for the rest of the turn. But aside from that, it's still really good at recycling Polymerization and Miracle Fusion. And on top of that, he has another effect where if he is destroyed by an opponent's monster or by card effect, you can special summon one hero monster in your hand, which can be handy in case, things get out of hand and you're in a bad situation. And this is also meant to try and get around one of the hero flaws where if they get when it comes to board wipes like Raigeki or Dark Hole, this is a way so you can get another body on board. But man, I really wish Wonder Driver just had a standard protection effect instead of that. That would have been incredible. Kind of would have been ban-worthy though, now that I think about it. But anyway, then to round things out, I run two copies of Extra Hero Cross Crusader. Cross Crusader is one of your main combo extenders since whenever he's Link summoned, you can target one Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard and bring it back. This will usually be Malicious or Denier. And on top of that, or destroy a Phoenix Enforcer in case things got really annoying. And on top of that, you can tribute one Destiny Hero monster you control, add any hero monster from your deck to your hand. Which, again, that is really solid. And if you don't want to do the tribute to add another hero monster, which I don't know why you wouldn't, you can still use him to either go into Wonder Driver or Cross Crusade, or Dread Decimator, sorry. And the best part is, he only requires 2 warrior monsters, which, in case things are getting way too rough or whatever, you could technically use a copy of Crosskeeper and another hero monster to link into him, which is kind of funny now that I think about it. But yeah, everyone, that is my hero deck. So let me know what y'all thought of it in the comments down below, because I think my build is pretty good. I know I could throw Dark Angel into it, but not right now, since I know Dark Angel is fantastic, but I really like where my deck is at right now, and I'll throw Dark Angel in eventually. Probably. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video, guys. Bye!